Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 5th grade to 6th grade transition meeting. This first meeting is about course placement because we are in the process of going through all the information with your 5th graders and getting them ready for 6th grade placement. You will have another opportunity to come back on May 29th, and that's sort of a general parent orientation meeting. Your children will come during the day and go through the classrooms and have questions, and they'll come home and talk to you about it and give you questions, and then you'll come back that night with the principal and the assistant principal, and you'll go through and ask any questions, and they'll go through all the other information besides course placement. It's a lot of information, so we do break it up so that you can ask your questions about what types of classes your students may take next year, and really the implications for the next 3 years on into high school. And then you'll have other types of questions just about adjusting and transitioning to middle school in general. I'm Sandy Cullis, I'm the assistant superintendent, and I work on the end of working with the elementary principals and the 5th grade teachers on gathering all the data to find the right placements for your children. And Mr. Horman is our assistant principal here at Valley View. He takes all the information and he's in charge of making magic and taking every one of your children's schedules with all their different electives and different levels of coursework and making it all fit. So he has a huge job ahead of him, but he won't be able to answer any question about the course schedules is what he really is in charge of. So here are your key people. This presentation will be available on video tomorrow, as well as the PowerPoint, so you can go through and you can have this contact information. You can always contact me about the placements. It'll be me that you're hearing from and getting letters from right when school gets out about your placements. You can obviously contact Mr. Ayatoska. He's the principal here at Valley View. You can talk to Mr. Corman. He's the assistant principal here at Valley View. And then you have 2 school counselors that really work on planning your courses after you get here. So they don't work on the transition from 5th to 6th as far as course placement, but they do work on 6th to 7th, 7th to 8th, and on into high school. So they're the ones that work with the high school of where your children will be placed at that time. It's based on your last name, the letters of your last name. So if your letters are A through KI, you're going to be with Mrs. Shea, and if your last name is KI through Z, or KL actually through Z, then you're going to be with Mrs. McDonald, and their contact information is there. So anytime over the summer or next year that you have questions, in the summer you can reach Mr. Foreman or myself. When school starts, you can reach your assigned school counselor. So here are the courses that all 6th graders are going to take. So everybody will have ELA and math, science and social studies. They will have some options for electives or cycles. They will take PE and health, art of writing, and a world language. The ones with asterisks have multiple levels, and that is where the course placement really comes in. You'll have some choice on electives, and then we can look at all of the information in math and language arts to decide which is going to be the best pathway for your children. So the placement criteria, we look at a variety of things. These are even only 4 of the pieces, the main pieces that we look at. We do give placement tests in math at the end, it's really the end, beginning of June. We'll take a 5th grade math placement. There's 2 parts to that assessment. The first part of the assessment is all the information or a sampling of information of 5th grade standards. So it's all material they've covered in 5th grade. So then we have an idea, are they really proficient in 5th grade material and ready to move on, or do they need some additional work on some 5th grade skills? Then we also do a pre-test, so some of the 6th grade pre-algebra type questions, just to see, well, how do they do on a little bit of 6th grade material, which they may not have been exposed to yet. And that's really just to give us an idea of where are they falling as far as 5th grade standards to 6th grade standards and which class would be the best fit. We also do some placement for language arts. We look at their writing samples that they've been doing. We do an assessment. It's a digital assessment similar to their standardized testing they do for the state, but it's an in-house one. Similar format where they write an essay, they answer comprehension questions. We look at those pieces and their reading levels for English language arts. Both of them, we look at, for both areas, we look at teacher recommendations. This is a very strong part of it because those teachers have spent the entire year with your children and they know the rigor at which your students will work at, where their strengths are, or areas of skills that they need to continue to work on. And then we also do something called a behavior checklist. The behavior checklist are really work habits. Are they motivated students? Do they complete their homework? Are they risk takers? And that gives us an idea of the expectation coming in. Middle school, things changed greatly. What they experience in 5th grade may be totally different than what they experience here in middle school, but it's a starting point for us. So we look at all of the pieces together and then try to make a decision of which course to take. Here are some examples of some of the behavior checklist type questions. So it's really not about do they talk out or do they get in trouble in school. It's nothing about that when we say behavior. It's really work habits. So it's risk-taking and understands relationships easily. So they're able to infer things mathematically before they even see it. So we definitely have students that just have a math sense and are able to understand concepts before they're even exposed to that material. You can look at this more closely when you have the PowerPoint in front of you. So it's listed all of those things. And then there's motivational behaviors. So we have critical thinking behaviors and we have motivational behaviors. And it's a checklist that the teacher completes. So as you can see, the teacher plays a large part in this because one, they know all of these, how many of these behaviors they're exhibiting, how often they exhibit these behaviors, and then they also know, have a good sense of what would be the best placement because they have come up and talked with the 5th grade teachers, and the 6th grade teachers, and know what the expectations are for the courses. So we have 3 levels of English language arts, and we have 3 levels of math. Our language arts, we have our core language arts, which is our 6th grade material. And that is where our students who may or may not be proficient in their 5th grade materials, but are ready to start 6th grade material. Then we have our advanced and our accelerated. And really the slight difference between the advanced and the accelerated is the writing levels. So we have found that our students have excelled in their reading, and we almost see 2 groups for writing. So that's really, they're reading the same novels in both courses for the most part, but there is much more independent writing and the expectation of independence at the accelerated level than at the advanced level. So it's our students who, once they're exposed to the material, they grasp it and they can move on. And the accelerated, it's a lot more of independent work that they may do. For math, we have 3 levels as well. We have our core math, we have our advanced math, and we have our pre-algebra. And this is probably, the math is the one we get the most questions on because it does have implications all the way through high school. Now it is not a set, we call them pathways because it's not a set track. Students do move between them. English language arts, it's a little easier because every year it's just new standards and new novels that they may be covering. For math, it's a set of content that they really need to have been exposed to before moving up to the next level. It's very difficult to take Algebra 1 before you've done, without taking any pre-algebra. We have had students do it, but it's very difficult and they struggle and it just makes it harder for them, and we want to avoid those situations. So our 6th grade core math are those students who are coming to us ready for 6th grade material. They may have a few things in 5th grade that they need to review, but for the most part, they're ready to start with brand new 6th grade material. Our advanced is really, it's the first half of pre-algebra, because they're going to, that advanced group is going to end up taking pre-algebra for over 2-year time. So they're going to take a half a year of pre-algebra in 6th, the other half in 7th, and then they move on to honors algebra 1, high school honors algebra 1 is the 8th grade. So that's their pathway. And it's a little bit more than just pre-algebra over those 2 years because they still have to cover well as the pre-algebra. 7th grade, they still have to cover the 7th grade content, as well as the second part of pre-algebra, and then it's solely Algebra 1 as an 8th grade. And then our pre-algebra students are really those students who are showing a very strong math sense, and intuitively they are able to understand pre-algebra concepts, and they've never had the coursework. And there are students that just see it. And you give them the problems, and there are a handful of students that get 100 on the pre-test, and they've never been exposed to those things. It just makes sense to them. So those students seem to move a little bit quicker, and they move directly into the pre-algebra class, and will pick up any 6th grade content at the same time that they're doing pre-algebra. So they're moving fairly quickly. And where this makes a difference is here. So at the end, we have kind of sort of the arrows, because students do move between these pathways. But for the most part, they stay about the same place. So for 6th grade, then, once they move to 7th, they're going to be taking either 7th grade pre-algebra A, like the first part, or they're going to be doing the second part of pre-algebra, so that would be the advanced group, because they already took part A as a 6th grader. Now they're taking part B, and then we have the group, like I said, that are taking as a 7th grader honors high school algebra. That means that this is a course that is the same exact curriculum as the high school honors algebra. They have to take the same high school final. They have to take the same state graduation requirement, the NJSLA. Okay, so we mirror it exactly with Morris Knowles' curriculum, Morris Hill's original. Then when we move to 8th grade, the core group will have completed pre-algebra and be ready for 9th grade Algebra 1. Some of them will take honors Algebra 1 as a 9th grader, some of them will take Algebra 1 as a 9th grader. That's about 70% of our students will take algebra as a 9th grader. That's typical at the high school. The group that was in the advanced pathway, as an 8th grader, they are now taking the same thing that the 7th graders do. They do the honors algebra 1, high school curriculum, high school final, etc. And the group that was in the accelerated, the pre-algebra group, is going to be taking honors high school geometry. Again, high school curriculum, high school final, and the high school state test. At the end of 8th grade, the students have an assessment that's given by the high school, and they determine if the student is ready for whatever level after they leave us. But we have a very strong success to the high rate that really all of our students move forward. Sometimes parents take algebra here and then decide to retake Algebra 1 at the high school and just have a really great foundation. Sometimes they go to a private school. Most of the schools in our area do take the credit, however, or as the pre-credit, but I can't guarantee that all private schools will. So if they took Algebra 1 here, they may require you to take it. I can tell you that Morris Hills Regional, both schools take it. If they go to any of the academies, or at Morris County School of Technology, LoTech, they take it because we have worked with them to make sure that we meet all their high school requirements. These courses do not count for high school credit. Your children will still have to take high school math. So that's where the high school applications come in. What they count for is prerequisite. So they can skip those because they've passed them. Once they take the Algebra 1 and the state test, they've passed the algebra graduation requirement. So they're done with that piece. But it does change their options. So those that were in, and again, you can really look at this when you have this at home. But I've color-coded it so you can see what the options would be, what the different levels are when they get to high school. And the reason I show this is because this is our 5th year, I think, offering these pathways. The first year, of course, everyone was really wanted their kids to take geometry by the time they left here, which is such a great goal. But they also have to think that means your freshman is taking honors algebra 2. That's their only option. And then they're moving, going from there to pre-calculus to AP calculus, and maybe AP stats and so forth. And some of our kids, that's exactly what they wanted to do. But other parents were like, oh, I'm not sure if that's exactly what we wanted to do as a freshman, because it is juniors and seniors that you would be in that course with. Some kids it's great, and others it's just something to think about. Even if they get through, I would say 30% take high school courses then before they leave here, that they're already a leg up. They already have a year, sometimes 2 high school years of math behind them, you know, and all of them are ready to start with the high school math coursework. So there's no, unless they're planning on taking that definitely wanted like AP calculus, then it could be a waste of, you know, I mean, that's where it goes. All right, general information. So the placements are going to be mailed to you. So we take all the information, we write them down on a piece of paper, every piece of data that we, all the test scores, everything that we have, and then we mail it to you with the recommendations. And that's done before June 30th. So right when school gets out, we get those mailed out to you, but you'll have them by then. We'll receive the results of the placement test eventually. You will get a score, but you will not get the actual test back, and you will not get the teacher recommendation form that says which particular motivational behavior or critical behavior and how it was marked by your teacher. But you will get your scores. Right? You don't get the actual tests or the form back. If my child's recommended for pre-algebra, but you don't want him to take that, then whatever they're recommended for, if it's not something that you were thinking you wanted your child to take because you weren't thinking of going all the way to calculus, then you just call us right away and we'll make that change. That's up to you. All right, now on to 6th grade electives.
Okay, so our electives here. We have 4 marking periods. 2 of the marking periods are dictated to 6th graders. They have to take help and they have to take STEM. It's a requirement that we feel is necessary for them. So that leaves them 2 marking periods to make a choice of the 4 remaining electives, which is art, family and consumer science, the fancy name for cooking, music, and computers. And that's what your children will see a lot of when they come on the 29th of May. Okay, our 7th and 8th graders will show them around the building, but they'll stop and see all of those, what we call cycle classes. You will receive, we do a lot of things here, and you'll hear this again on May 29th, but we do most of our things here through Genesis. We do a lot of things through email and Genesis, so you'll receive a Genesis form sometime the end of May, early June. We'll give you about a week to fill it out. It'll take you maybe 30 seconds after you have a conversation with your children to fill it out. And what we do there is we ask you to rank those remaining cycle classes from 1 to 4. Our goal is to give them their first 2 choices, but because of, you know, numbers, a lot of kids like cooking, family, consumer science, right? They make some good things. It makes the school smell nice. But not every student can take that. Not all 180 6th graders that come into the building can take that course. Okay, so based off of that, again, we try, when I sit there and do the schedule, I try my best to give them their first and second choice, but they will at least get one of those 2 and then their third choice. Also, here at Valley View, every student, let me rephrase that, sorry, 98% of the students take foreign language. As 6th graders, they'll take a whole semester of Spanish, which is 2 marking periods, and a whole semester of French. Okay, they might be the first 2 marking periods of Spanish, last 2 of French, or vice versa. After their 6th grade, they get to choose which pathway they want to go. Okay, so the goal is, by the end of 8th grade, they complete a full year of either French or Spanish. Some students, again, those that are showing a real understanding of another language, might complete up to level 2. Okay, but a majority of our students here will definitely get through level 1 again, meeting the requirements that are given to us by Morris Hills Regional. If they meet those requirements, then they get to move to the next level as ninth graders. Again, we have students, we have current 8th graders right now who say, there's no way I'm taking level 2 next year. We have kids who are sitting in level 2 in 8th grade and they're like, I'm not taking level 3. I'm not ready. I don't want to be in Spanish 4 or take an independent study of Spanish in my junior or senior year. So they realize it. They didn't realize it when they're making a choice at 11 or 12 years old, but by the time they're 14, they realize it. Our chorus meets after school, so they put on a winter concert and a spring concert. They usually meet near the concert time. It's twice a week, but usually it's one time a week. Our band as well meets after school. This year was the first time that we started a strings program. For those of you that are interested, your children might be interested in playing either the cello or violin. That happens before school. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. It gives them about a half hour to rehearse, and then now they become part of the concerts as well. Okay, but you'll hear more about those things on the 29th, but we just wanted to put a little bit out there. The last thing I want to talk about, though, are students in Expo. Students in Expo don't get any of those electives that we taught them. They have to take help because it's a law. Okay, so that's dictated to us by the state of New Jersey. After that, they'll take 3 market periods of Expo. Within Expo, they do some great things. I don't know if anybody has been at International Night or Chef's Night, so there are definitely great things, and they get to hit those areas of, family consumer science or art and things like that, but they will not be able to choose those courses. So if your child is an Expo student, that's something you're going to have to decide with. If they choose to be an Expo in 6th grade, they don't have to stay in it, and vice versa. So if they're recommended for it, and you're like, nah, we want to try some of those cycle courses, after the end of 6th grade, if you're like, we'd like to go back to Expo, we honor that. Okay? Expo is like our gifted and talented. They have that at they feel. Okay. So it expands opportunities for them. International Night, the students research and learn about different countries and their cultures, and then put on displays for the community to come and see. Chef's Night, they have to market things. So they kind of create their own designs, or this year I purchased a frame, and then they have to go and market it. And then again, that's an evening event that's put on by their Expo team.
Expo is different than the elementary because it does meet every day. Is it every other day? Every day. And it's not meet in the morning. You will be asked, once we get all of the, finish up the screening, and if your student is eligible for Expo, we'll let you know, and we'll ask you to make a decision. So if you've been experiencing it through elementary, you kind of have an idea, but you'll be asked, and you can make a decision. But when we have students do both ways, decide not to, or decide to. Up to you. Questions? Right.
One last thing also about band and chorus, just so you can tell your children if they're deciding whether or not they want to stick with it. Our band and chorus are going to Dorney Park on Friday for the first time since I've been here. I've been here for 4 years, so they're going to do music in the park. It's something new that our band teacher, we have a first-year band teacher here to us at Valley View that we wanted to implement, and we kind of moved testing around to get this going because we thought it was important. So again, it's something you might want to share with them. It's something that we hope to do for years to come.
Great opportunity because they go in front of judges and they get critiqued. Hey, questions? I know we give me a lot of information. Yes.
Does the 6th grade NJSLA factor into place for next year?
It does. It is one piece of many. I think there's actually 7 pieces, and it is one. And one thing that you would have to do is that they do need to be proficient to be in those top levels. So if they're in the accelerated pathway, but they did not, were not proficient like a 3 or below on the NJSLA, then they can't move into that. That's the only one.
So it's a teacher recommendation, the NJSLA end of the year testing for both math and English?
Yes. And then like for English and on the report cards, you see their reading levels. A lot of this you already know. You've been seeing if they are exceeding or meeting, where they're falling in their grade level. So probably it's not going to be so different than what you're expecting, but we do lay it all out. And I know that when I talk to fifth grade teachers, because parents always, our conferences fall in March, and March is too soon. We don't know yet, because we haven't taken half of those pieces. So it's very hard for your teachers to say where they're going to go, because we don't know how they're going to perform on the end of the year assessments.
The only thing I'm going to add to the scheduling part, because that's my nightmare a little bit, is that if your child excels in one of the two areas, they have every right to be, let's say, an advanced ELA and an on-grade level math course. So just because they're placed in a higher level of one doesn't mean that they can't take it because they didn't need it in the other area. Okay? The only time it gets a little challenging is if they're an accelerated ELA student, which is the top level, but they're only on grade level in math. I can't always promise that based off of a lot of other factors that go into scheduling, but I can promise they're one level apart, if you understand what I mean by that. You don't just ask and clarify. But it goes both ways. So for math as well, if they're a math student or accelerating in that area, they can be in advanced math and be on grade level in ELA. They could be in pre-algebra as a sixth grader and be in advanced ELA. They don't have to be in pre-algebra and accelerated ELA. They don't go hand in hand.
And anytime we have any situations, we call you and you help decide how we're going to solve the issue. Because you'll have some choices and we'll ask you to make some choices. But it doesn't happen very often. Yes?
So the NJSLA scores don't typically come out before June, before school ends. So their scores that you're going to take into consideration are their fourth grade scores.
No, actually last year we got them in June. We got them before school was out and we were able to use them for sixth grade. Yes.
Okay.
What we don't get is we don't get the parent report until August, but we get the actual number, just the numbers, each student's name and what they scored. So we get them back in June. Last year was the first year, but we got it like June 15th. And then, which was great because on the computer you could work them through. And then we could use that information. It's mostly to see if they really, whether or not they're ready for that most accelerated class. It's not, it won't keep people out of maybe some of the advanced or whatever. Because we have to look at all the areas. Yes.
Is it just those pieces, like is there any communication in case if there's any extraordinary circumstances, the child prefers something or the family, this is what you're in, that's sort of it, as far as the level?
Here's the level.
Yes.
We look at 7 pieces, but it really is, it's not a parent choice. Because to be honest, it's very difficult for the parents to decide that pathway if the students aren't ready. And there is a lot of research to show, especially in math, if they take if they take algebra too soon, then it can be detrimental. So we really want to check those. I mean, it would, because we look at so many things, if it were just on one, like it was just on one placement test, then we would say, oh, I had an off day, this is what it's like. But the teacher gives a recommendation. They say, this is the course that I think they should go with, which weighs heavily. Based on all that they have seen in class, they do that work habits, which is a piece. Then we look at how do they actually perform when they take the test. Those 2 things.
But you guys did move some of the teachers and not sometimes.
Oh, they're new to the school?
Right.
We do send if people contact us ahead of time, we send that checklist to their old teachers. I've done that with a handful of students every year, and then they give us that feedback. And if in the first month we realize this is terrible placement, then we will call you and we'll say that this is just not the right placement for your child. Again, it happens, but it's not very common. But we certainly are flexible. We want the best for your children. It's not you're stuck there. It's not a good fit. You don't get out. Yes.
Yes. So So band is an after-school program. Lessons go on during the day through a rotation that to be honest, the band teacher takes care of. I have no idea how she did it out. The strings program was brand new. It was something, we had a teacher last year who decided to move on to Mars Knoll because that is her expertise in the strings opening. So she was going to start the program. Our new band teacher picked it up and went running with it as well. So like I said, there's probably maybe 8 kids involved in it, and their parents drop them off at 7 in the morning. We have like 3 or 4 different cellos coming in, a couple of violins, and it's worked out great. We had like a little music ensemble during this year that the band teacher put on, and they did a phenomenal job. The spring concert they were part of as well. But yes, the strings part is only in the morning, strictly in the morning. Yeah. Yes. They can, early on, they will meet with the band teacher, and she is willing to take on anybody and everybody to continue to grow the program. So they have currently been playing, let's say, saxophone, and they want to now become a percussionist. Go right ahead. Should be more than happy to work with them. Yeah. Yeah, so we've had kids start. We have one current 6th grader right now who carries 3 different instruments, and I know he didn't play all 3 in 5th grade. So he's, one of them's an alto sax, I think it's called, so it's much bigger than him. So things like that. So she's very open to, like I said, having anybody and everybody join. Tuesday afternoon. So Tuesday afternoon usually is the 6th grade band. The Wednesday is usually the 7th and 8th grade, and then Thursday is jazz band. Okay, which is like a tryout. But again, something that's just trying to go. So we'll talk a little more about that on the 29th, but I'll be happy to answer any other of those questions.
And then, like in elementary, they do have rotating lessons. So they'll be pulled from different classes on a schedule, but not the same class, just like elementary. And then they practice as a whole band after school. And band and chorus are both graded classes, but if you're in it, everyone gets a P because it's pass or fail. But it's just acknowledgement that your child has completed a related arts, a musical performing arts course, right? Because the state wants to see how many kids are doing or participating in performing arts.
And it doesn't stop them from being in any other activity. So understand that. Same thing if you're an athlete, you can be on a sports team and still be part of band or chorus. They work together. The coaches, the band director, the chorus director, they all work together. We want the kids involved in as much as possible. Our goal is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoon. This place is packed with students. Those are the 3 days that our late buses run. But again, if you say, oh, well, my son or daughter wants to run cross country in the fall, how can they be involved? We'll figure it out, I promise you. Because we definitely have kids who do a lot of different activities.
Foreign language, so they can take both.
They're required to take both as 6th graders, Spanish and French.
They choose how many semesters.
No, they take 2 semesters of Spanish. So market period 1 and 2, let's say, they'll take Spanish. Market period 3 and 4, they'll take French. Okay? At the end of 6th grade, based off of what they learned or felt during the school year, they get to make a decision. Then those teachers also decide what level. Because there is, like I said, there's a French 1 and a Spanish 1 in 7th grade, but those kids will end up in level 2 in 8th grade. And that's not for everybody, just like some of these other courses. Everybody else, if they just pick Spanish, they'll take Spanish 1A, we call it, in 7th grade, and they'll take 1B in 8th grade. Again, finishing the whole Spanish 1 curriculum over 2 years. If they want to move on and they've met the requirements, which includes the final, given to us by Morris Hills Regional District, then they can take level 2 as a freshman semester. Again, that's pretty far away, I understand. But these are all the things that Dr. Cullis worked years ago regional to make sure that we're meeting their requirements. So we work very closely.
We offer 7 high school courses here. So there are opportunities for your kids that if they're interested in that academic work, it's here. We do offer a lot of musical choices and play. If you have students here and come to see it, there's a lot in the performing arts, and we have things in social clubs and citizenship. So there's so many opportunities for kids.
Just understand that they do not get high school credit for any of the high school courses. We tried. We tried really hard, but they do not get any credit. It's only for advancement, meaning, you know, if they're in Algebra 1 as 8th graders, they can move on to geometry.
It allows them to get farther or not have to double up in high school. Okay, any other questions? Great. Well, hopefully you'll be here on the 29th because they'll answer all the other really important middle school questions. And I'll be up here if you have any other